Welcome in everybody to another JM Sports Show as we discuss and dissect last night's NBA and NHL playoff action. How about the series that we saw? Spurs, Manu Ginobili turning back the clock and putting on a performance that made him seem like 25 instead of 40, overcoming the knee issue he had late as the Spurs stay alive in that series as they fight for their coach, Greg Popovich, and they stay alive to stay in that series 3-1. My show hasn't aired since, but my condolences to the Greg Popovich and his family with the loss of his wife, Erin. And he has missed the previous 2 Spurs games as a result. But the Spurs do stay alive and beat the Warriors to avoid the sweep in the NHL. The Nashville Predators and Pittsburgh Penguins win their series against the Colorado Avalanche and Philadelphia Flyers, respectively, to win that series and advance in the NHL playoffs. And then we also saw the Wizards win last night's game against the against the Raptors as they win 106-98 in that game to tie the series at 2 apiece. So a lot of interesting watches in the NBA. On Saturday night, you had the 76ers taking a commanding 3-1 series lead against the Miami Heat. That series returns, I believe, tomorrow against the Heat back in Philly. So the 76ers looking good to advance in their series. As Game 5 will tip at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow from the Wells Fargo Center. We also had Milwaukee dominate the New Orleans Pelicans, or the New Orleans Pelicans sweep and dominate their series against Portland. We see Utah with a great performance from Ricky Rubio win their game as Utah were able to cut the deficit to 2-1 against the Thunder. We see the Bucks tie the series against the Boston Celtics with a late heroics from Giannis Antetokounmpo last night after their win on Friday. So the NBA playoffs are very interesting, but the top story, as it is in the NBA playoffs, it's usually one or two things. It's either LeBron James or a big call that affected the outcome of the game. And in last night's game, that big call was the foul call on Lance Stevenson late in that game that allowed the Cavs to hit free throws. So let me set it up for you. With about a minute to go, the Cavs have a 6-point lead. I think there was like 23 seconds to go. The Cavs have a 6-point lead, and the Pacers hit a transition 3. I believe it was Oladipo hitting the 3 to make it a 3-point game. And then on defense, Stevenson, who had done something similar earlier in the game to LeBron, gets in and fights for the ball and earns a jump ball. He had done that earlier in the game with LeBron James. This time he's covering Jeff Green, and he is able to wrestle the ball away from Jeff Green, and the call on the court appears, and the announcers say it is a jump ball. However, they go to replay, and in the replay, they determine, and we're thinking they're looking at replay because Jeff Green, who had been taken down to the court as he and Stevenson wrestled for the ball, had shoved Lance Stevenson. So we're thinking perhaps they're looking at a foul call on and deciding what degree of technical or flagrant is going to go on Jeff Green. However, after the replay, they call a foul on Lance Stevenson, no jump ball. So they reverse their call and call a foul where there wasn't one called before. And this is troubling to me. It really shows that, and I think they're on their headphones, on their headsets, and the person in Secaucus at the league office is saying, hey, guess what? If you botch this, if you call this in favor of the Pacers, that might cost LeBron James a trip further in the playoffs, because they would have gone down 3-1, and this Cavs team, I don't believe, would be able to come back from that. But now tied 2-2, heading back to Cleveland, the series changes dramatically. And this was a good game from the Cavs. This was their first good game of this 4-game series. They got lucky in game 2 and obviously lost games 1 and 3. So maybe finally the Cavs are waking up, but could have very easily gone 3-1 in favor of the Pacers had it not been for this controversial and, in my mind, wrong call to call the foul on Lance Stevenson, who had the ball. And Green happened to go down to the floor, and they're wrestling for the ball, and both players had hands on the ball, and they called jump ball, but then after the replay, they decided to go on a foul against Lance Stevenson, and that ultimately allows the Cavaliers to hold on to tie the series at 2 games apiece. Unbelievable what happens in these NBA playoffs. But man, cannot believe they would come down to that call, and it's unfortunate that it would, because it was an excellent, hard-fought game between these two teams. As that series goes back to Cleveland, I believe Wednesday is Game 5 in that series. So maybe now the Cavs ride the momentum out and win this game in 6, or maybe the Pacers feel slighted and use that to beat the Cavaliers. Either way, I believe an entertaining end to this series is very much possible in a series. I think it'll be very entertaining, the ending, and I think it'll be very interesting to watch. All right. That is going to be just about do it. But here's the plan. I am working on a mock draft. The mock draft show will be Wednesday. I'm not sure about timing, probably around 4 p.m. Eastern. We are going to have a mock draft show. Full first round mock. And I'll tell you where I think the players are going to land, where I think Darnold, Barkley, Rosen, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and more are all going to land in the NFL draft. Of course, the draft is Thursday through Saturday. So that will be our plan for the Wednesday show of the JM Sports Show. Thank everyone for watching. Follow me on Twitter at JMoney18C. Subscribe to me here on YouTube. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.